Hello everyone, I'm Harley from GarnFL, and in today's video we're going to compare two different types of Garcinias that I found here in Cali, Colombia. Now those two different types of Garcinias are one, Garcinia Madruno, and two, Garcinia humilis, which is also known as Achachiyaru. And this one we commonly call Madrunnum. Now both of these Garcinias are beautiful fruits and are native to here in Colombia, but both of them can also be grown in Florida. Now what I love about these Garcinias is that they're in the same family as mangosteen, and mangosteen is such a delicious fruit, so to know that we can grow fruits of the same family is really cool, and I really like it a lot. So let's take a closer look at these two fruits and compare the similarities and differences, and also talk a little bit about the taste, texture, and size of these fruits. So let's get started. So right in front of us we actually have a big bowl of Garcinias. So this Garcinia on my left hand side is actually Garcinia humilis, which is also known as Achachiru. Now Chachiyaru is actually a very interesting Garcinia because in Florida, believe it or not, there are actually many farms that have just been started within the last several years dedicated to Achachiyaru. So Achachiyaru is a fruit in Florida that we have the ability to cultivate very easily. Now the Achachiyaru fruit can be distinguished from Madruno mainly just because of its skin. As you see, the skin and the surface is very smooth. It almost looks like a lemon drop mangosteen. But on the other hand, we have the Madruno, and Madruno is classified to be much bigger. In fact, as you see, it's almost twice as big, if not 3 times as big as a Chachiyaru. And also, you will notice that the Madruno has very bumpy skin. It almost looks like it has little fungus on it, but it's not, it's just a bumpy skin. But like all Garcinia, they kind of all have that distinguished shape and tip on the top. So that's one way how you can kind of distinguish a Garcinia from other fruits. So let's take a closer look at the Chachiyaru fruit and opening it up. To open up the Chachiyaru, you just kind of have to squeeze on it a little bit, although you can use your mouth, which is what I usually do. And you see it's very crisp when you open it up, very juicy too, and you'll notice that it looks very white, sort of like a mangosteen. If you eat a mangosteen, it looks very similar, although this is not the cleanest. But as you see, it's very, very white, and we're going to do a little taste test of it. So we're going to take a closer look at the Garcinia Madruno and actually open it up. Now the same thing with this Madruno, you can actually open it up just with your fingers or with your mouth, but for this purpose I'm just going to bust it open like this. And the inside of this, like I said, is very reminiscent to any other Garcinia. Typically when you open up Garcinias, they'll have the very reminiscent kind of little shape like this. They kind of have 3 seeds or 4 seeds kind of paired like this. And as you see, what you would eat is this white flesh around the seed. And believe it or not, when you put this in your mouth, it just melts in your mouth. It's kind of like a cotton candy effect almost. So here we have both the Garcinia fruits. Let's go ahead and try the Achachiyaru first. It's a very kind of sour, but it's very sweet at the same time. You definitely kind of taste like a lemon zest. It gets a little sour. It's strange taste because it's very sour, but then it's followed by like a sweetness, a very light sweetness. But it's very enjoyable to the palate because it kind of like throws you around a little bit. And the texture too of the Achachiyaru, it melts in your mouth when you put it in your mouth. It kind of like cotton candy when it hits saliva. It kind of just like melts. Same thing with the Achachiyaru. And this is how I kind of like to open them myself. As you see, the seed itself is pretty big. You see the seed and the fruit. It's pretty big, but you do get a lot of meat. And here we have another Achachiyaru. I just want to show you how I commonly like to eat them. You can just pop them in your mouth like this. It kind of makes a sensation sound when you open it up. But like I said, that inside portion, the very white fruit, a lot of people like to see that because it reminds them of like a mangosteen or something similar to that. But this fruit is very good. So we're going to just pop it in our mouth. Now that other one came with 1 seed, this one came with 3 seeds, so it just varies from size. This one's a little more sweeter than the last one, but it's still kind of very sub-acidy. But it's not an acid that, you know, that scares you away, but it's a really good contrast between sweet and sour. Just be careful not to swallow the seeds, or if you give this to younger children, because the seeds are pretty big. Not Chachiyaru, Garcinia humilis. So I really like the Chachiyaru. Let's move on to tasting the Garcinia Madruno. So right here we have the Garcinia Madruno. As you see, here's one that's unopened. Here's one that I opened from before. So we're gonna try this one out. Like I said, it looks very similar to how Achachiru looked when we open it, just like all Garcinias look. Wow. Wow. Madruno. It's very sweet. There's no kind of, there's not such a strong acidic taste from the Achachiru. Madruno is kind of a more sweeter, but you still get some acid in there, some sweet and sour. But the sour is definitely more lighter, and the sweeter is more higher. I also like the Madruno is much bigger than the Achachiru, meaning that you get more meat in the Madruno other than the Achachiru. I do have to say, Madruno, I do like a little more than Achachiru, only because it's a much bigger fruit. Its meat is much more sweet, and but still has that tad bit of sour contrast that I like. The seeds appear to be the same size as Garcinia humilis, Achachiru. But like I said, you get much more meat, and there's a much more sweeter kick to the Madruno over the Achachiru. But they're still really good fruits, and I highly recommend both. And we're gonna try opening the Madruno like I like to open up all other Garcinias, just with your mouth, like popping it open. Such a beautiful white, snowy little fruit in here. So we're gonna get this open. So we're gonna pop this in our mouth. You just kind of get hit with like a wave of sweetness at first when it all jumps in your mouth. But as you're chewing the Madruno and kind of absorbing it, some of that sub-acid taste comes out, and it just mixes really well with the sweetness. So I really like Garcinia Madruno, but I really like Achachiru too, because if you are more of a, if you like more sour fruits but still like a sweeter fruit, Achachiru is very good. But if you were looking for more of a sweeter Garcinia, Madruno would be your choice. And what I like about both of these is I'm able to grow both of these in Florida. I actually have many seedlings of Madruno actually growing on my farm and on my house in Bradenton, Florida. Now they did take a while to sprout out. They did take about a month to sprout, but they're growing and they look very happy. So I'm really looking forward to the future of growing these two in Florida. Now I do want to share with you all the seed comparison size. So on my right hand side I actually have Garcinia Madruno, and on my left hand side I have Garcinia humilis, which is Achachiru. As you see, there is a slight differentiate between the seeds. The Achachiru seed seems a little more bigger than the Madruno seed, but as you see, they still look very much alike, and to the untrained eye, you might just think they're the same seed. But overall, it's just important to, keep note of which is which, because if you're going to want to grow the fruit, you want to make sure to, get the right species. So we'll note that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video on my comparison of two different Garcinias I found here in Colombia that we're able to grow in Florida. I would like to thank one of my followers for actually suggesting this video, because I believe he wanted to know the differences and similarities between these two Garcinias. So thank you for that. And if you guys have any recommendations or want to see some fruit up close, want a video about a certain fruit or tree, you can feel more than free to drop it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to make a video for you about it. So thank you guys so much for watching my video on Garcinias. I'm Harley from Garden NFL, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye now.